Hi, it's Gwyneth here on a fabulous Feel Good Friday. I hope you've had an amazing week. I've been helping people to feel good about being themselves so they can promote themselves, so that they can market themselves with confidence. Now, I've mentioned in a few of my posts recently, I've been reading this book by Maxwell Maltz called Psycho-Cybernetics. It is one of those books, in my opinion, it's an absolute life changer, and that's why this week I want to talk about esteem, because I want to get down to the nitty gritty, to absolute basics with you about how you feel about yourself. Because one of the things that Maxwell Maltz talks about is, he says, we look up at the moon, we look at the planets, we look at the stars, we see the photographs that NASA sends from outer space of the Earth. We look at nature, the North Pole, the lights. I can't remember what they're called, but we look at all those things with such awe and such wonder. And we forget that we are made of the same thing. You are here using the same miracle, whatever that is. I'm not talking about religion here. I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about how you got here. You were made with the same magic, whatever you want to call it, that produced the moon, the stars, the earth, nature, the forests, the birds, the sky, the sun. And reading this really struck me this week again. I want to just read very briefly a couple of sentences. So in each of the chapters that he talks about, he promotes the theory, the idea, and then he gives a prescription. And then he says, the word esteem literally means to appreciate the worth of. And he talks about what I've just said, when you're looking at the stars and the moon, he says, is not man himself the most marvelous creation of all? Yes, you are, or woman. This was written in the 60s, so that's why he's written man, but in the kind of general sense. But it says, this appreciation of your own worth is not egotism unless you assume that you made yourself and that you should take some of the credit. Do not downgrade the product merely because you haven't used it properly. Don't childishly blame the product for your own errors, like the schoolboy who said, this typewriter can't spell. Now, as I said, this was written in the 60s, so I apologize immediately to anybody who feels offended by talking merely in the masculine. But it just struck me that this is so true. As I was talking last week about achievement, and I had a couple of lovely emails, thank you, about people who'd gone back and thought about what it was that they had achieved. And it's so easy to forget that stuff. But by the same token, every day that you walk on this planet, it's a miracle. It really is. And so when we're talking about self-esteem, and when we're talking about being confident, talking about yourself, promoting yourself, marketing yourself, remember that you are a wonder walking. Gosh, am I going a bit too far this week? I just want to say something very briefly as well about Maxwell Maltz, who wrote this book, Psycho-Cybernetics, because originally he was a plastic surgeon, right? And the reason he got interested in all this stuff is because many times people will come into his practice and say, my nose is too big, or I want something to be changed. And it's because of low self-esteem. Many people believed that if they looked different, they would be a different person. And he did see a change in many people who had plastic surgery. He did see an actual change in their behavior, in their personality, which makes no sense, because it's still the same person on the inside, just because the cosmetic appearance has changed a little bit. But he did see this, which is why he started writing, why he started getting interested in this stuff. But sometimes he would say to people, you don't need that, because you are that person already. It's all in here, lovely people. It's all in here. You are totally 100%, if not more, fantastically fabulous. You are allowed to have self-esteem. You are allowed to talk about your achievements. You are allowed to be confident about your abilities. You are allowed to promote yourself. You are allowed to market yourself. You are allowed to go for that job you want. You are allowed to set up in business if you want to. So next time you look up at the moon or the stars or the sun, you say, wow, it's amazing. Just remember that energetically you are a part of that fabulous, amazing, energetic thing. And on that note, I wish you a fabulous Feel Good Friday, an amazing weekend, loads of love, and bye for now.